So, Manchester United have agreed to sign Éderson for £35 million plus £4 million in add-ons. Don, or should I call you Donatello, which we usually do when you're telling us about Serie A players.
You call him something else.
What kind of player are Manchester United getting here?
Okay. He's the player I thought Liverpool would have got when Fabinho left Liverpool. Outstanding player. He's a player. If you think of Manuel Ugarte at Man United, and he got brought in because he wanted to rat around the place and get stuck in, well, Éderson is completely different. This guy can play. You see his touch maps and his heat maps. He's all over the pitch. He's all action. You'll see his touch maps on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, millions of touches in the middle. He plugs gaps. He's aggressive. He gets the odd goal. He's one of these players where when Man United play, you'll probably look at Bruno Fernandes and you look at Cunha and you look at Mbeumo and you might look at Sesko and your eyes might not catch Éderson. But he is a manager's dream. Honestly, for 36 million at 26, he's an absolute bargain. He'll slot straight in there. He can handle the ball. Every box you want to tick, ticks every single box. He's not flash. He's not flamboyant. He's just a real team player and a superb footballer. He's a great signing for Man United.
Is there a reason why he's that price? Because I remember Gab on here a couple of weeks ago was talking about Éderson. And all of the things that Don's just said, he said was Éderson of 18 months to 2 years ago before he got an injury. Is that a reason why he's so cheap?
No, do you know what? And Kay will probably know. The Italian market, they don't sell for like you don't see loads of Italian players. Well, I can't think of any going for 80 to 100 million pound. It just doesn't happen. It's a market that's when it gets rated for like 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. They're not like extortionate. And I don't know why Serie A bosses or the hierarchy there don't value their players a lot higher. I think Atalanta are a very good club and a well-run club. So they'll think 36 million is a lot of money.
With this contract
Premier League standards, it's not. I think maybe we're a little bit spoiled in the Premier League. Yeah, and maybe we're a little bit spoiled in the Premier League where to sign a player, you've got to go, Declan Rice, 100 million. Enzo Fernandez, 100 million. There's still these players that you can buy for like 36 million who you'll go, what a superb buy, and that's what he'll be for Man U. He's a terrific player.
You know, Sam, Don, we've worked together a long time. I've never heard you mention Éderson.
We never asked.
No, but you're telling me... You
never asked, exactly.
Well, no, Kay asked you about Éderson, and we on this show, on a daily basis, have talked about midfielders and signings for various clubs over weeks, days and months, whatever. I've never heard you mention Éderson. But you're on here tonight telling me he's the second coming.
If you were listening, No. If you were listening, I said he's the one Liverpool should have got.
Yeah, but you only said that tonight. You never said that at the time. No, don't remember that.
Okay, with everything that he's told you about Éderson.
He said that at the Did you say that at the time? Because we've got people here, believe it or not, that can check the tape.
No.
Take them a couple of weeks.
I can't lie.
We'll get the team on it.
I can't lie.
Does it fix any of United's shortcomings?
Oh, yeah. If he does what Don said, then 100%. He'd fix it. He would play for anybody. I want him at Liverpool. Can we hijack the deal?
If Don had talked about him sooner, you might have been able to put that news out there.
Yeah.
Well, look, the good news is for United is it's things are way more positive at the moment.
Aye.
You know, Michael Carrick's been given the job. They finished the season really strongly. The place just seems like a happy place to go in to train. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes contentiously got the Player of the Year, and lots of people got upset about that because they've got nothing better to do. So they've got the makings of what could be a good side, but depending what they do in the summer, you know, I've talked about Luke Shaw buying the left back. Obviously, Harry Maguire's got this disappointment in the World Cup, but he's not the long-term answer. They've got Heaven and they've got Yoro, who are relatively young, but so there are areas of the side they have to obviously get better. That goes without saying. They've not really contested in the Premier League for a long time, but the place just feels as if it's in a much better place. And they can only they, Man United, can make a mess of that by signing the wrong players in the summer.
See what happens when you've got an English coach at the helm, Frank?
I never had any English coach first, you know. I just want to go back to what Craig said, because I can't keep up laughing about it, because he was pretending that Don is making everything up, you know, that he doesn't know Éderson.
No, I'm not saying that.
I never heard of... Well, you're not saying that, but you're not too far from there. But I never heard about Éderson. I saw him only playing once, but I want to believe that Michael Carrick, a former Manchester United midfielder, very good one, will hire somebody that he can trust, can be as good as Michael Carrick has been for Manchester United. So, Don, I believe you, unlike some people.
No, I know Don watches a lot. I know
Well,
Don...
Frank, just to let you know, Frank, I mean, the guys love a chuckle at this. My job over here, Frank, in England, is to commentate on Serie A. So I know my I know my players when I see one.
Listen, and we all know that. However, the point stands. You've described Éderson as a player that, as Stevie said, could walk into the team in the world, and I've never heard you mention him before on this show. That's my point.
But if you were listening to him in England, you'd have heard it.
Any team in the world.
If you'd have been listening to him in England on the commentary for Serie A, he talks about him all the
I
time.
don't care what Don does in England. I care what he does here. Bring it here. Stuff England. Have you seen how they broadcast in England these days? It will send you to...
So let's take a deeper look at exactly what Manchester United are getting in Éderson. We're going to show you is that he could be a very dynamic and versatile midfield option for Michael Carrick. Let's take a look at this and start by looking at his contributions both with and without the ball. Now, this graphic is made up of every Serie A midfielder who played more than 2,000 minutes in the league last season. What we're looking at exactly is how many passes a player completes per 90 minutes, that's on the vertical axis, and how many tackles a player makes per 90 minutes along the horizontal. So the higher the player is in the top right-hand corner of this graph, the more he does of both. And as you can see, Juventus's Manuel Locatelli is way out ahead of everyone else, a complete outlier over here. You can also see, though, that Éderson is a really strong performer as well. He's averaging just under 2.5 tackles per game and completing nearly 50 passes per game as well, which means he's very effective both with and without the ball. Now, take a look at this one as well. This graphic gives us a bit of an insight into the average position Atalanta players took up in the Champions League last season. As you can see, Éderson is predominantly taking up a position in the middle of the pitch on that left-hand side. And these dotted lines, if you can see them here and here, show the most common runs he makes. You can see that not only does he burst forward, he also tracks back to cover the centre of the pitch. And those darker circles show the players that he most often passes the ball to. So you can see that he clearly has a good connection with the players on the left side of the pitch, and he links up well with his centre midfield partner as well. And look at this one as well. This tells you everything. Here you can see the influence he has on the game all over the pitch. This is his touch map for Atalanta in the Champions League last season. As expected, there is a bit of cluster, or a few clusters over the left-hand side of the pitch. They're playing this way. Clearly, though, he's a player who physically wants to get all over the pitch, and he has the capabilities to get on the ball absolutely anywhere. Altogether, it builds a picture of United getting a very versatile midfielder. And let's now head to Rio to find out more on United's incoming Brazilian midfielder with Tim Vickery. Good to see you, Tim. You just heard our analysis there. Please tell me we got it right, because we worked quite hard on it.
No, I think that's terrific work. I mean, if you look at his heat map, Hannah, hotter than July, isn't it? If I can just hold my hand up here, a couple of years ago when Manuel Ugarte came in to that central midfield position, I thought he'd be a great fit for United. And that one clearly hasn't worked out, has it? And I think one of the reasons why, when he's a good player, and Bielsa loves him for Uruguay, he's going to figure very much in the World Cup, is Ugarte. But one thing is, United, you need a little bit more on the ball about you, don't you, than Ugarte has brought. And I think that the strength of this Éderson move is that he gives you the ball-winning capacity of Ugarte, with much, much more as well, much, much more dynamism. And he is a midfielder in the plenitude of the word, in that he's going to do anything that you want him to do in that space, all over that space, doing a great deal all the time. He's the words I was going to come in with, but you stole them from me. Dynamic, versatile.
Oh, it's one mind. We're all on the same page. I mean, for those who haven't seen him in action then, who would you compare his style of play to?
I think there's quite a lot of Bruno Guimarães in him, and he's that type of midfielder. He's a little bit of everything. He's not a specialist in any one thing. And that gives Michael Carrick lots of lovely options, doesn't it, in the way that he wants to build his midfield. And I'm sure that United's flair players, the likes of his compatriot, Matheus Cunha, for example, will be loving this, because all of that dynamism is going to help give a platform for those lads up front for United.
So we know he's versatile then, but what's actually his preferred position? Does he see himself as a 6 or an 8?
I think he just sees himself as a midfielder. I'm not even particularly sure that distinction makes a great deal of difference to him. I think he'll do what's necessary between games, within games. And another thing, Hannah, that I really like about him, and I think is really important with United, strong personality. I mean, the first time that I saw him, his first real serious professional football in Brazil was with Cruzeiro. Now, that's a big, big club. And they just won everything. But they were sinking in financial debts and off-the-field scandals. And they went down 2019. So he's thrown into this big side that in a relegation battle where they weren't successful. And he stood out. It's the kind of situation that can kill a young career. You know, you throw in a youngster to a side that's sinking. But he really, really stood out. And had they been able to clone him, then they wouldn't have gone down. And I think that kind of strength of personality, I think that's really important. We've seen so many really good players not do the business at the United because it's a heavy shirt. But I think he's shown, especially in adversity, in that first gig he had there with Cruzeiro, he's shown that shirt's not going to be too heavy for him.
Do you see him being a squad player at United?
No, I see him being more than that. So, I mean, obviously, with the return of European football there at United, there's going to be some rotation. But I certainly don't see him as a squad player. I've seen some online stuff being a little bit down on it, that, you know, this isn't a huge name. Well, probably the only reason it's not a huge name is that maybe he spent too long at Atalanta. Fabulous club to play your football. And it was 2 years ago that he was a key part of the side that won the Europa League. But I wonder, from the position of the development of his own career, if he thinks that maybe he should have been a little bit more ruthless and moved on earlier. It certainly would have helped his World Cup chances, Hannah.
Well, on that World Cup chances and that side of things, he made the initial Brazil squad, but he won't be travelling to the US, Mexico and Canada for the tournament. So why exactly is that?
Well, there's a lot of competition, and also when he played for 3 clubs while he was in Brazil in the first division, but without a particularly high profile, and he left very early, and he's been with, even though Atlanta punch above their weight, he's been with relatively small clubs. He was called into the squad under the coach before Ancelotti a couple of years ago for the Copa America. And he got on the field a couple of times. But he's competing with players with a higher profile. And he was competing then with João Gomes of Wolves. Now, João Gomes has a profile over here in Brazil. He won our Champions League, the Libertadores, with Flamengo. Another one he was competing with, André, also of Wolves. He won our Champions League, the Libertadores, with Fluminense. These players have profiles, and that really makes a difference. Just as an aside, it shows you what an extraordinary story it is that Igor Thiago has broken in to the Brazil squad for the World Cup without playing first division football in Brazil and playing for Brentford. That really is an extraordinary story. That is climbing Everest the hard way. But it is difficult if you haven't got a big constituency in the press pushing for your inclusion. Maybe had this move happened a couple of years ago, maybe the higher profile would have got him in. And moving to United, even last year with United not having having European football, it did wonders for Matheus Cunha with Brazil. Éderson is coming up 27, and I'm sure he'll think that he's got at least one more World Cup cycle left in him, so he can make up for that in 2030. But in order to do that, he now has to do the business with United. He has a big club. That gives him a completely different platform. So this is a move in his career, which I think is make or break.
Well, with that in mind then, what is the current perception of Éderson in Brazil? Is he flying under the radar a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Exactly because of that. Exactly because his brief experience here He wasn't there playing for clubs that were competing for titles, and he moved early and he's gone to smaller clubs. Brazil produces so many players. It's just not possible for everyone to fly over the radar. But I'm telling you, going to United will do wonders for his profile, and it will give new opportunities for his international career as well.